Welcome to this congregation. We are the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Lower Bucks, and we welcome you. I'm Colleen Stow, your lay leader. Thank you for choosing to worship with us. Our UU community is built on love, connection, and acceptance for all who enter our space. We hope that today's message will help you on your personal and spiritual journey. We invite you to relax and enjoy this time together. For the month of October, our theme is hospitality. Our UUA covenant states, hospitality emerged as an ancient obligation grounded in the reciprocity. It is an act of love that cannot exist in hate's shadow. Hospitality's ability to overcome barriers by welcoming the stranger elicits a willingness to support the common good. Today's speaker is Mark Bernstein, and we welcome Mark, who is a longtime friend of the UUFLB. He's a former staff member with the Central East region of the UUA and a 30-year veteran of the UU Church of Delaware County and Media. His sermon title is Selling Onions. Benedictine hospitality requires that we welcome the stranger, not only into our homes, but into our hearts. This form of radical hospitality is the essential message in the Rule of Saint Benedict, a book written in the 6th century, and just as relevant and important to Unitarian Universalists today. Our musical prelude will be with Avi Wisnia. Unfortunately, Avi's father passed away on Friday, and Avi cannot be with us today in person. However, we have him on video. Our hearts go out to him and the entire Wisnia family.
Good morning. We start today with a song about how our lives and our actions are all connected. Please join me in singing number hymn 134, Our World is One World. Our world is one world. What touches one affects us all. The seas that wash us round about, the clouds that cover us, the rains that fall. Our world is one world. The thoughts we think affect us all. The way we build our attitudes with love or hate we make a bridge or wall. Our world is one world. Its ways of wealth affect us all. The way we spend, the way we share, who are the rich or poor, who stand or fall. Our world is one world, just like a ship that bears us all, where fear and greed make many holes, but where our hearts can hear a different call.
I'd like to invite Roseanne Frankenberg up to light the chalice while I read our opening words. Be Ours a Religion by Reverend Theodore Parker. Be ours a religion which, like sunshine, goes everywhere. Its temple, all space. Its shrine, the good heart. Its creed, all truth. Its ritual, works of love. Its profession of faith, divine living. We welcome Aaron Mackey with our message for all ages. Although we don't have any children here, we do all enjoy a good story for all ages, and Aaron knows how to bring them.
All right. So today's story is Grandfather's Glove, and it's a short story, but hopefully you'll find some wisdom in it. On a cold, snowy day, a grandfather lost his glove as he walked through a forest with his cart. A little mouse found it and happily thought, "I've found a warm place to stay for the winter," and he squeezed himself into the glove. After a little while, a frog came along. "Who lives here?" he asked. "A mouse. And who are you?" "I am a frog. Can I come in?" he replied. "Yes, come in," said the rodent. Later, a little rabbit came along. The rabbit stopped and timidly asked, Who lives here?" "A little mouse and a frog. Who are you?" the two animals answered in unison. "I'm a bunny. Can I please come in and warm up?" "Okay, come on in and join us," said his two new friends. Along came a fox who asked who lived in the glove. Even she joined them. Soon a wolf and a boar arrived. When they squeezed their way into the glove, it was such a tight fit that no one could move. Then a bear appeared. "Who lives here?" asked the bear in a deep, deep voice. "A mouse, a frog, a rabbit, a fox, a boar, and a wolf," the animals replied. "But how did you all fit?" said the bear. "Who are you, anyway?" "I'm a bear. Come on, let me in." "But how? There's no more room." "Just scoot over." "All right, but promise you'll stay in a corner." And just like that, the glove became the home of 7 animals. It was so full it looked like a blown-up balloon. In the meantime, the grandfather realized he had lost his glove and went back to look for it. When he found it, he saw that it was moving about quite strangely. His dog even started barking. Woof, woof, woof. The grandfather couldn't believe his eyes. Looking closer, he saw the head of the mouse, the tail of the fox, the tip of a rabbit's ear, and a bit of fur, and sharp, shiny teeth. Frightened by the old man, the animals all hopped out of the glove and ran into the woods. The grandfather, on the other hand, grabbed his glove and went home.
Please join me as, please join me as we sing "Go Now in Peace," although there are no children. I would like to welcome Mark Bernstein with the reading for this morning.
Thank you, Colleen. Good morning. It is really, really nice to be back with all of you, and I have to say that's probably the best impersonation of a frog I've ever heard. Thank you. This morning's reading is an excerpt from the book Radical Hospitality by Father Daniel Homan and Lonnie Collins Pratt. Here is the core of hospitality. May I know you better? Will you come closer, please? No, it will not be easy, but make no mistake about it. Your life depends on this saving stranger coming to you and stretching your tight little heart. Hospitality is a personal response to your own need to connect with other people. This need is at the core of what it means to be human. Your entire humanity, your identity itself is wrapped up in your need to connect. The real question is not how dangerous the stranger is. The real question is how dangerous will I become if I don't learn to be more open. The words of Father Daniel Homan and Lonnie Collins Pratt.
It's now time for our offertory. October's split plate recipient is Welcoming the Stranger. This nonprofit offers free classes in English as a second language, computer skills, and United States citizenship exam preparation to adult immigrants and refugees in the greater Philadelphia area. What could be more hospitable than to give immigrants an opportunity to be a part of the American experience and help them along the way? Please donate what you feel comfortable to this worthwhile group. Again, we have another musical interlude by Avi Wisnia. Not yet. How much I pay attention. Off script. Thank you. The offertory is accepted with love and gratitude. Thank you very much for your generosity. And now we'll have a musical interlude with Avi Wisnia. Together, we are more.
Today, I would like to share with you a song that was actually introduced to me by Dr. Reverend Craig Rubano, who often visits us at this congregation. This song was composed for a different UU congregation in Meadville, and it was written by the composer Angela Salvagione. It's a song about how we are better when we work together. It's called Together We Are More. I am the hope, you are the courage, together we are more. I am the hope, you are the courage, together we are more. We can face unknown tomorrows with the strength of what we've seen. We can glimpse the far horizon, see the forest and the trees, if we join in faith together in beloved community. We will know this world in heaven as in love and unity. I am the hope, you are the courage, together we are more. I am the hope, you are the courage, together we are more. We can hear another story, and its force will shape our own. We can witness to life's heartaches, and we need not feel alone. We can learn new ways of knowing till our deepest hopes be known. We can honor all the journeys and bring all the travelers home. You are the hope, I am the courage, together we are more. You are the hope, I am the courage, together we are more. We can keep each other moving on the path however long. We can keep the goal before us of a world we all belong. We can know the earth beneath us, reaching out to right her wrongs as we journey all together in this love which makes us strong. I am the hope, you are the courage, together we are more. You are the hope, I am the courage, together we are more. We are the hope, we are the courage, together we are more. We are the hope, we are the courage, together we are more. Together we are more.
Let us welcome back Mark Bernstein with his sermon, Selling Onions.
The following is a true story. The names have been withheld to protect the innocent and the not so innocent. Several years ago, while I was working full-time for the Central East region, I was invited by the minister of a rather large congregation in Maryland to come to a worship service anonymously. She had recently begun her ministry at this church and had the sense that members of the congregation were not as welcoming as they could be. So I was to play the role of a mild-mannered visitor, not from another planet, interested in sitting in on a worship service and seeing what it was all about. I agreed to take on the assignment, and I showed up for the second of their two services. As I entered, I had to search for someone who would acknowledge my presence, and finally spotted two people behind what I assumed was the welcome table. They greeted me warmly, handed me a name tag, and directed me to the sanctuary where the service would be starting in a few minutes. I didn't want to sit down right away, so I decided to explore the building a bit and strolled around, passing scores of congregants along the way. In fact, that was my intention. I purposely looked at folks as I passed them, trying to be as noticeable as I could. I recall that not one person smiled back. Most did not even look in my direction, and no one said hello or tried to engage me in conversation. Feeling quite alone, I quickly made my way to the sanctuary, seeking solace in one of the pews. After a few minutes, someone sat down directly behind me, leaned forward, and asked me if I was visiting for the first time. When I responded in the affirmative, she said, "Welcome." I said, "It's too late." No, I'm just kidding. I didn't. After the lovely worship service, I made my way again down the hallway and entered a room where folks congregated to drink coffee and eat cookies. I grabbed a cup. I was instructed to take a yellow cup, signifying my visitor status, and a cookie, and I went to a corner of the room where I could be clearly seen. I remember standing there for about 5 minutes, it seemed a lot longer, with my cup and my cookie, and not one person came over to me. It was obvious by my positioning that I was not with anyone. I even raised my yellow coffee cup up higher so that people could see I was a visitor. Nothing worked. Eventually, I gave up, finished my coffee and cookie, and headed back down the hallway to meet up with the minister and the board to whom I was to report on my welcoming experience. While it may not have come as a surprise to the minister, I believe many members of the board, as I recall, were quite shocked that their congregation was not as welcoming as they thought they were. I also remember thinking that if this had been a real experience, and I was someone who was seriously considering this congregation, I would not have stepped into that building again. During my tenure with the region and now as adjunct staff, I have experienced this kind of reception over and over again. It is the rule in my experience, rather than the exception. I stand by the statement that I made years ago and still believe Unitarian Universalist congregations are not as welcoming as they think they are, and they certainly are not as welcoming as they need to be. But hospitality, particularly radical hospitality, begins with, but goes far beyond merely welcoming the stranger. In their book, which I cited in the opening reading, entitled Radical Hospitality, Benedict's Way of Love, authors Father Daniel Homan and Lonnie Collins Pratt envisioned radical hospitality as something that goes beyond mere politeness and surface-level interaction. It emphasizes the idea of welcoming others with an open heart and a generous spirit, viewing every encounter as an opportunity for personal growth and a way to connect with our spiritual selves. Radical hospitality enables us to create more inclusive communities, better live out our promises to each other, and reach out to those who are on the margins. Many of the ideas that I will share with you this morning are drawn from this inspirational book. Saint Benedict of Nursia was a 6th century Italian Christian monk, writer, and theologian who wrote The Rule of Saint Benedict, a book of rules or guidelines for his monks to follow and for the daily life and organization of monastic communities. The rule, as it's referred to, has endured for the past 1,500 years, and its teachings among the monastic community are still followed today. They have great relevance for us Unitarian Universalists who seek harmony among ourselves and our communities, and the hope that we can encourage others to join with us. In the Benedictine way of radical hospitality, we are expected to provide a profound and unconditional welcome extended to all, regardless of their background, social status, or circumstances. We claim this in our worship service introductions, do we not? Whoever you are, wherever you come from, whatever you believe, whomever you love, you are welcome here. But do we truly honor this pledge? We are, after all, human beings, and we are inclined to feel more comfortable with people we know, people who are like us. And as human beings, we feel less comfortable when we are with people who have different ideas and interests, different points of view, different backgrounds, different perspectives. Over the years, I have worked with many congregations who have prized being with, quote, like-minded persons. Marilyn Sewell is a writer, leader, activist, and speaker. She is the Minister Emerita of the First Unitarian Church of Portland, where she served as the senior minister for 17 years before she retired. As she sees it, we need to not just talk about opening the doors, we need to open our hearts. She writes, I speak of radical hospitality today because there is a world out there that needs home, that needs community, and I want us to stretch spiritually, to stretch ourselves open. I know that when we take the risk, we'll make mistakes, but our lives will grow so much richer and deeper because we have extended ourselves. Our creativity will blossom, for we will not be stuck with our old assumptions, our narrow ways of perceiving reality, our world will grow wider and softer and more trusting. Marilyn Sewell. Hospitality is not a mere social grace. It is spiritual and an ethical issue. It is an issue involving what it means to be human. To receive others is to expose ourselves to all sorts of frightful dangers of attachment and rejection. Hospitality acknowledges the vulnerability of being human, both my humanity and that of the stranger. And yet, our Unitarian Universalist principles compel us to engage in radical hospitality. We take pride in our first principle, respecting the inherent worth and dignity of every person. But what does it mean? How do we show it? If I feel ignored, alone, in a church full of people, am I expected to understand and to believe in our first principle? If I don't feel connected to those around me, can I have faith in our seventh principle, respecting the interpersonal web of life of which we are all a part? The rule of St. Benedict teaches us that hospitality, rather than being something you achieve, is something you enter. It is not something you do as much as it is someone you become. You try and you fail. You try again. You make room for one person at a time, and each of these choices of the heart stretches your ability to receive others. This is how we grow more hospitable, by welcoming one person at a time when the opportunity is given to us. And this practice of hospitality is not easy. There are hurdles, enemies, if you will, of hospitality. And among them are fear, suspicion, and self-centeredness. Many of us are unwilling to trust others to give us what we need. We grow callous and hesitant from the fear of being rejected. So we keep people at a distance with suspicion and fear. And for many of us, we are so caught up in our own lives, in our own problems or struggles to just live, that we lose sight of others, that we lose sight of what is important. There is a market in Mexico City where an old man named Padulamo is selling onions. There are 20 strings of onions in front of him when an American walks up and asks, "How much for a string of onions?" 10 cents, says the old man. "How much for all of it? The whole 20 strings?" "I will not sell you the whole 20 strings, replies Padulamo. "Why not?" asks the American. "Aren't you here to sell onions?" "No, I am here to live my life. I love this market. I love the children. I love when my friends come by and talk about their babies and their crops. That is my life, and for that reason I sit here with my 20 strings of onions. If I sell all my onions to one customer, then my day is over, and I have lost my life that I love, and that I will not do." As members of a congregation, do we live our lives selling onions, or do we enjoy our lives with our fellow congregants? Do we pay more attention to our own thoughts and needs, to what we have to get done? Or do we reach out to others, even the stranger, to engage with them, to listen to their thoughts, and in so doing, perhaps meet their needs? Listening has been called the key to St. Benedict's entire spiritual teaching, the core meaning of hospitality. It is a special kind of deep attentiveness to all of life. Benedict's rule is a guide to sharpening the ears of the heart. Listen, St. Benedict tells us, listen. It will sometimes break your heart, but it will also give you a heart. authors Homan and Pratt tell us that hospitality is a way to counter the thousands of times another human being had felt less than human because others didn't listen. When you listen, you get past yourself. The focus switches from the self to the other. If we do no other thing than train ourselves to listen to others, they advise, we will have taken great steps to hospitality. But St. Benedict doesn't call us to listen on the surface. He wants us to listen way down deep. This is from the book on radical hospitality. You know the place. It's the same place that weeps at the sight of a newborn, the same place that falls silent at the edge of a mountain, the same place that reaches for a falling sparrow. Listen from that place. Listening is at the heart of Benedictine spirituality because it is the only way to see through the eyes of another. When we listen to another, we catch a slight glimpse of their soul. We create an open page where they are free to write their story. Welcoming, connecting, listening, reaching out, these are the keys to radical hospitality. These are the ways that Unitarian Universalists should be with one another and with the stranger. I close with one more quote from Father Homan and Lonnie Collins Pratt. What matters is that we stretch our hearts open and draw near to each other. It is the way of hospitality, the way of life, and it is in this remote place where we have awakened to find ourselves the only way home. So may it be.
Now is the time in our service when we recognize and lift up one another in love. Please come forward to this microphone to share your joy or sorrow. I just want to add that I sat with Rabbi Wisnia to have coffee 2 weeks ago, and I've always enjoyed his wit, and it will be missed.
I have a joy. I remember coming up here about 25 years ago where I said I switched careers and I got my first teaching job and I was overjoyed. And I'm a little more overjoyed to say that I put in my letter of retirement yesterday. So June 30th, it's over.
I just want to thank Sherry for taking the time this last week because of Avi not being able to be here and how much we miss him when he's not here, that she went into the archives. So everything you're seeing with Avi is Sherry going back into the archives, pulling his music and having him here still with us, which is our joy and our sorrow because we know why he's not here.
I just wanted to say that I related very much to what Mark said. We have visited many UU churches as we've traveled. One experience we had in San Francisco, which is, of course, a very large church. I have no idea how many members they have. Nobody talked to us, and we found a young couple with a baby, I don't know, 9, 12 months old, I don't know, just a young baby. Sitting by themselves, I guess having coffee, and we went over and talked to them. This was the 5th Sunday they had been there, and we were the first people to talk to them. On the other hand, We have gone many times to the church in Sarasota, which has 500 members, and we were warmly welcomed. So you can find either one. Thank you, Mark.
Whether or not you share today, for your joys, we in this community join you in celebration. For any sorrows or concerns, may you feel our sympathy and compassion. Please stand as you are able and join us in singing Spirit of Life. We're going to take a moment for spoken meditation. Please find a comfortable position and gently close your eyes. Visualize the shape of the posture of your body. Feel rooted and steady. You are exactly where you are supposed to be in this moment, in your calm and steady pose. Bring your attention to your breath. Inhaling. Follow the air through the nostrils, turning down your neck and reaching your lower belly, sides, and chest. Repeat natural breath and focus on the air's path when traveling inside your body. Relax. Breathe in and out, calming your breath with each inhale and exhale. Slowly and gently allow the air to fill your lower belly, side, ribs, and chest. Imagine the air lifting you with peace and tranquility. Let your breath be calm and steady. You are calm and steady. Stay with your breath, and your breath will stay with you. Namaste. May there be peace and happiness for all living things. Our closing song is by Avi, and it's Put a Little Love in Your Heart.
We conclude today with a popular song from the 80s, and I hope you will sing along wherever you are, whether you are in this room together or in our spiritual cyberspace. Whenever you feel moved, you can join in with the words, "Put a little love in your heart." Think of your fellow man, lend him a helping hand. Put a little love in your heart. You see it's getting late, oh please don't hesitate. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me. You just wait and see. love in your heart, and the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me. You just wait and see. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. Sing with me now. Put a little love in your heart. 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 Put a little love in your heart.
Our service is concluded. For those of you on Zoom, thank you for joining us today. We hope you can join us again next week. In the meantime, we would like to thank Mark Bernstein for a wonderful sermon today. It was very good. For all who are here, please join us in the cafeteria for coffee, fellowship, and conversation. Go now in peace. Amen, and blessed be. God.